What's up, everybody? Trinity here. Now, in case you guys don't know, I am a cyclist. It's something I've been doing, been a big part of my life for at least the last 15 years. And in case you don't know, this Saturday, the Tour de France is getting ready to kick off. Now, something I haven't done in the past few years is this challenge I like to do called the Tour de France challenge, in which I like to go out and try to ride 50% of the miles that they do over the course of the Tour de France, which takes place over 23 days. It's actually 21 days of races, but they also have 2 rest days in between all of that. And it's something I had done several years prior to the last time I'd done it like 3-4 years in a row, where I go out and I end up riding about 1,100, maybe a little over 1,100 miles in the course of these 23 days. In case you don't know, this can be quite challenging. If you've ever watched the Tour de France, you know it is the toughest challenge in sports. Now, you can feel free to argue about that all you want down in the comments and argue with me, but many will attest that it is true. It is a stage race that takes place over 21 days. Like I said, there's 2 rest days in there, in which guys are battling it out through some of the roughest terrain and through any sort of conditions. During these 21 days, riders crash, they get injured, they get hurt, they are probably not getting, while they are getting good nutrition, they are still starving their bodies for so much because of every effort that they are putting into the pedals over the course of these 21 days. I can guarantee you it is the hardest challenge on the planet, going in and day out throughout this race. And it's something I have kind of done as, like I said, a challenge I've done for the past, well, skipping a few years, but something I had done prior to this, and something I have managed to complete for those few years previous to this. Now, believe me when I say it is pretty challenging, even for somebody like me who isn't going through all of the same terrain and pretty much doing a lot of these rides in my local area. So what that ultimately means to me is going out and riding usually around 50 miles every single day on my bicycle for 23 days straight, essentially, or 21 with some rest days in there. But to be honest with you, I usually end up falling a little bit behind and use those rest days that they have during the race as days that I can make up a little bit of extra miles. And generally during the week, I end up, falling pretty behind because it is quite a challenge to go do. So what I end up doing is during the week, I'll end up getting maybe some 30, maybe 40-mile rides in there, and on the weekends I usually end up getting some 60, 70, 80, and even 100-mile rides in there. I know one of the first times I actually ever did this challenge, I think the last day that I had to complete the challenge, I think I had a little over 100 miles to do, and I think I ended up going out and doing like almost 120 miles to even be able to complete this challenge. So believe me when I say it is something that is very challenging for me, even when I was at sort of the peak of my riding, which right now I am definitely not at that. But over the past few months, I have slowly been ramping up my mileage in preparation for being able to do this. And it's something I look forward to doing this year and hope that I am able to meet that challenge, considering the, I guess, essentially a limited amount of training I have done for this. And through that, I also wanted to ask you guys for a little bit of help, and that would be monetary and for motivation as well. Now, in case you guys don't know, cycling isn't a cheap sport. Buying jerseys like this jersey I've had for very many years, but cycling isn't cheap when it comes to the gear you have to use, whether that's helmets, jerseys, the bib shorts, pedals, shoes, the cleats for the shoes, the bike itself, tires, tubes, anything like that. Even the food that you have to fuel yourself with is not cheap over the course of this time. Now, one of the things that I am wanting to do is I have several different bikes. I have a road bike, I have 2 fixed geared bikes, I have a mountain bike that are just mine, as well as I have a fleet of bikes that are my family's as well. But one of the things I have been wanting to do here lately is one of my fixed gear bikes actually needs a new wheel set, and that's what I'm here to ask for. If you guys would like to help support me over the next 23 days through the course of this of the course of the Tour de France, and what I am asking is for some donations. I will leave a link down in the description of this video, as well as you can always stop by during any of the live streams, send super chats or anything like that that will be going into this. But what I am wanting to do is build a new wheel set for one of my fixed geared bikes, and to do that it takes quite a bit of money, and I'm not here to beg for money to pay my bills or anything like that. You won't ever see me do that here on this channel. A lot of this money that I make here on the channel I actually put towards comic books and crowdfunding comic books and things like that. But here over this next month I am asking for your help to help me build a new wheel set for my bicycle, and in turn I am going to go out there and push myself and try to reach these nearly 1,100 miles that I will be putting in over the next month. And so that's what I want to do with this money. So this what I'm asking for isn't something that I absolutely need. I'm not asking for free handouts or anything like that, like I said, to pay my bills. It is just something extra that I am asking if you guys could help me with. But it would also help with a little bit of motivation. You know, I got people donating for me. I feel a little bit of an obligation to go out there and push myself and make sure that I am getting these miles in, and hopefully not disappointing you all, let alone myself. I know the first few years that I ever tried doing this Tour de France challenge, I want to say like the first couple years I ever did it, I came so close, but I felt like, you know, 100 miles short, 200 miles short. Just like, to me, over the course of 3 weeks, something like missing 100 miles, 200 miles is such a small goal to reach. But as I started doing it more and more, I finally got to 1 year where I actually hit it and I was able to do it. And there's a big thing when it comes in cycling, and that is that it is all a mental game. It is all how you can keep your mind in the right mindset to go do this. If you watch the Tour de France, you see that there are people out there that can't do that in the professional bike racing scene. And just imagine how those guys are doing it compared to me, just some average Joe doing it here on my local roads for these 21 days. It is quite a challenge, even when you think about it. Even guys out there who I know who ride, and even in the racing scene here in the United States, there is other racing besides professional racing out there that people do, and I've actually participated in some of that. That it does get really challenging, even for guys who ride pretty much every day for their health, not even just for the fun of it or their health, but just for the challenge and the fact that they are cyclists. It is definitely a lifestyle doing something like this over the course of these days. This much frequency, the frequency and amount of miles that you're doing every day is still quite challenging to go out there and do this miles consistently every single day for 23 days. So as I said, I'm not asking for free handouts. I mean, I guess I am asking for free handouts, but I'm just asking for your help. It's nothing you have to do. You don't have to feel obligated to do it. If you can give me, you know, say $10 for the whole month, you know, if I had, you know, so many people give me $10, you know, you could do the math, you know, I could get my $1,000 goal. Or if you would just dedicate, say, donating like $1 for every 10 miles I do, which, yeah, I mean, that ends up being $10 for every 100 miles. And so, you know, that ends up being about $100 by the time we get to the end of this 1,000-mile challenge that I'm trying to do. But any little bit that you could do to support would be greatly appreciated over the next few days. I am going to start doing some videos as well, kind of doing updates daily for here on the channel for you guys, probably for my channel members as well, just as I am going through this, as it is something I have done over, you know, it's been a few years since I've done, so I'm looking forward to the challenge. Thank you all so much for your generous donations and your help. Again, there is a link down in the description of this video where you can go and do that. Again, thank you all so much for your consideration, and if you can, please share this out with your friends. See if they want to do this as well. I know I'm not doing it for any charity or any other greater reason other than to build a new wheel set for my bike. Thank you all so much. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you out on the roads later.